Alright guys, I'm back with some tea. So I got this for Mother's Day. It says Mom in a Million. I love it. Oh my god, and I love that it's glass. Oh my god, I don't know why I'm so obsessed with like a glass coffee mug. It just, I don't know, it makes me feel happy. Every morning I get a cup of coffee and I drink it out of here or whatever. So anyhow, so the reason why I've never really just talked about this story to anyone, because I didn't want anyone to judge me, and it wasn't the easiest thing I ever had to go through in my life. So we'll start from the beginning. I was in a relationship with someone. We met at a what do you call it? I can't even think. We met at a country western bar slash club called Whiskey River. He came up to me. So he's with this girl and they were dancing, and he came up to me and said, "Can I have your number?" Because I wasn't thinking he would ask for my number. They were dancing really good, you know, on the thing, like twirling and spinning, and they looked like I thought they were together, but I guess not. And he came up to me and he was like, "Hey, can I get your number?" I'm like, I was so confused. I was like, you know, sure. Is that your girlfriend? He's like, "Oh no, that's my best friend," or whatever. We always come hang out. I'm like, okay, whatever. So I gave him my number, and he was such a sweet guy. He was such a country man. I'm not used to country guys. He was a bull rider. He was everything that I'm not. A country dancer, country person to the T. Now, he was black, but he had the boots on. He had the hat on. Like, he was country to his core, okay? And I'm not country to my core. You know, I'm just a regular, I don't know if you would call me city girl, suburban girl, I don't know, but whatever. So long story short, you know, I remember him calling me. I remember he called me so much. Like, he would call every day. He was like, "Hey, can we hang out? Can we hang out? Can we hang out?" I had a kid, so, you know, I don't really just jump to go hang out with people. I'm very scared and very skeptical of people, even women. So even if a woman's like, "Hey, can we hang out? Can we hang out? Can we hang out?" I still am skeptical, and I'm still like, "Oh, probably not. Like, let me get to know you a little bit more. Let's text a little bit more. Let's, you know, whatever, a little bit more. Or if we meet up, I have to make sure it's in public." So I'm like one of those types of people. And so he kept on asking, and I always had my kid. You know, I was just going through a divorce, so it's not like I just, you know, had the freedom that I wanted at the time. So I remember he invited me out one day, and it was in the country. It was Fresno, Texas. I remember driving like 2 hours away or an hour and a half away to go meet up with him one day. And we hung out, and I thought that he was like the sweetest guy in the world. Like, he felt so safe to me. Like, I felt like, oh my god, this is like the safest guy that I can be with. I felt like I just like instantly like fell for this man. Like, instantly. Like, I remember like just feeling like, oh, I love him so much. And I remember just hugging him tight, like after the first time that I met up with him, hugging him really tight, like, "Oh my god, I like you so much, you're so amazing." I really like that guy. Like, out of all the boyfriends I ever had in my life, I think that with him I was probably the most, gosh, maybe obsessed with. I mean, just like this infatuation where I was just like, oh my god, I just love him. And I don't know if it was because he was just completely different. I don't know if it's because I felt safe, because he seemed like a very safe guy. He seemed really safe, you know. And I just remember I would call him here and there. He would answer, and he was very, very sweet all the time. Very, very sweet. He was always like, "Oh, hey, how are you?" And he always had like this little country accent, and he was a great guy. Like, anyways, long story short, so we're dating, you know. This is after the first encounter. We eventually started dating. I don't remember how, really. I literally don't know. It's like one of those things that's just a blur. I don't even remember if he asked me or if he just kind of demanded it or if I asked him. I don't remember. But anyway, so next thing you know, we're dating, and I really like this guy, like, a lot. He would come over like about once a week because I always had like my daughter. And I was just like smitten, you know. I was just like so in love. I don't know why. I remember texting him a lot. I remember like wanting to talk to him a lot, but he wasn't really a phone person, and he was a Capricorn like me. So he was always busy. He was always working. He was always trying to find things to get into. So it was like whenever I was ready to hang out or chill, he was busy. So it's like it just anyways. So uh chamomile tea. Um Anyways, so we're dating for a while, and I just remember like I got tired of the once a week thing. Like, you know, me, I like a lot of attention. You know, I was in a marriage, and in this marriage that I was in before I got with him, I got a lot of attention. You know, my husband, my ex-husband, I don't know why I always say my husband. I guess so used to referring to him that way. But my ex-husband, he would go everywhere with me, and I loved it. He would call me all the time, and I loved it. And we were like crackheads. Like we were just so like this with each other. Like we like so when I got with this guy, he would maybe like, he didn't call me all the time, maybe once a week. It wouldn't be very long, maybe 10 minutes. I liked him a lot, so obviously at some point we did get intimate. I just remember settling for a relationship where it was like he come over every week. We didn't do nothing. We didn't go nowhere. He didn't pursue me really. He really didn't try to put a lot of effort, and I know how I am. If I'm not getting the attention that I want, I do bounce. I don't wait it out. I don't give people time. I don't really talk about it. Tell them what the problem is. Mostly just because, like, you know, they always say that if a man really wants you, he's going to pursue you. If he wants to see you, he's going to see you. If he wants to talk to you, he's going to talk to you. If he wants to call you, he's going to call you. And so I felt like since he wasn't doing any of those things, he didn't want me. He didn't want to talk to me. He didn't want to see me. He didn't want any of those things with me. So I ended up leaving him. Okay. I remember in the back of my head, like when I broke up with him, I was like, oh, if I had his baby, like we would just, it would work out. Tell me why. This is the craziest shit like ever. So tell me why. Like I remember just getting sick. I stopped talking to him for about a month, you know, and I was just doing my own thing, living my life. I did think about him in the back of my head. I was so in love with that guy, but of course life goes on. I wasn't in a relationship or anything like that. He was the last person I was with intimately, and I just remember like feeling really sick. I remember feeling something in my stomach. Like I literally felt like a ball in my stomach, and I was telling my homeboy like, I just feel like I'm like I throw up. I feel really sick. Like, and he said take a pregnancy test, and I was kind of like, I'm not pregnant. Why? I don't know. Like we use protection. Like we've never had sex raw or anything like that. We use protection. So I didn't think there was anything to be alarmed by. So I remember, I was kind of like, I remember one time we were intimate, and I remember that we were having sex. He had on a condom, and I remember that he goes, oh shit. And I remember it was when he went in the restroom, and I was like, whoa, what happened, you know? And he's like, nothing. And then now, right now, I'm thinking, is that why I got pregnant? Is that why? Like, did he know that he nutted in me but didn't tell me? Like, he just did it and then didn't tell me, and then like now, like, I mean, then now, not now, but then I was pregnant. Like, I'm thinking that that's what happened because I didn't understand. We use protection. We never not use protection. So that's the part that killed me. So anyhow, so then I remember that my homeboy was like, take a pregnancy test. And I'm like, I'm not going to take one. I'm not pregnant. So I think I did take one. And it came out negative. So I was like, I'm not pregnant. I took a pregnancy test. And so I just kept on feeling like weird. Like my boobs were tender. I felt this knot in my stomach, and it just felt weird. And it was just there. And I remember like poking at it. It was just there. And I'm just like, what's going on? And so how did I do this again? So I think what happened was I was at my house, and I went and got another pregnancy test, and I waited because I was supposed to have a period by a certain day. So I was like, let me wait until the day comes. I'm supposed to have my period, and then I'll take it if it don't come. So my period, I don't think it came, or it might have been a dot. It wasn't a lot. It was kind of like one of those things that I was kind of like, I think it was like a pinkish color. I remember talking to my godmom about it at the time, and she's just like, oh my God, you know, uh-oh, you might be pregnant. And so anyways, I take this pregnancy test and I was livid. After that pregnancy test, I was pregnant. And I remember like crying. I remember bawling. I didn't want this baby. I was a single mom at the time and I still am. Not married. But I was a single mom at the time, and I just remember like I was going through a hard time. I didn't know how to manage my money right. I was behind on bills. I was borrowing money. I was just like going through a lot, and so anyhow, so I'm crying, I'm sad, and I remember that I think my godmom called me at the time, and she's like, oh, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, ah, and I was like crying. She's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, I'm pregnant. And I'm telling you guys, I was so sad. Anyways, so long story short, so my boyfriend, ex at the time, I had to call him up, after I got off the phone with her. She said, just come on over, we'll relax, we'll watch a movie, chill. I didn't really be by myself at the time. I was just depressed. So I called my ex at the time and I was like, hey, I'm pregnant. He's like, what? And he was mad at me. Like, we didn't end on bad terms, but it's not like he was being that nice. And he's like, what? And I'm like, well, I'm pregnant. He's like, whatever. Well, who's the baby daddy? Nigga, I haven't been with anyone. You're the baby daddy. And I guess he realized, maybe he thought about the situation. It was like, oh, maybe she is pregnant. So anyway, I told him, I said, I don't want this baby though. Like, I want to get an abortion. I don't want your baby. Like, you don't have anything to worry about. At the time, I did not want another child. I remember consulting with my friend and asking him, and he was just kind of like, yeah, you shouldn't have another baby. You should get an abortion. And of course, I've always been against abortion. I've always been against it because I was like, why would you abort a baby? Like, who does that? Like, that's wrong. Like, you're going to go to hell. Like, I thought horrible things about it. And so I remember telling him that. He's like, all right, cool. Go to the abortion clinic, tell me how much it is or whatever. We'll split it. Like, we'll just go ahead and get the abortion because I don't want a baby right now anyways. And I was like, okay, cool, because I don't want his baby anyways. So, long story short, so I think the abortion clinic told me I needed to come in because they have to make sure that you're around whatever months so that they can give you a price. So I went to the abortion clinic. I just remember walking in. I remember like outside of the abortion clinic, there's all these men, white men. Not like I'm not racist or anything, but there was white men outside, no women. And they're like holding up signs like anti-abortion, anti-abortion. Now, mind you, this was 6 years ago. So my daughter was 2 years old at the time, and this was 6 years ago. So right now we're in 2022. So 2015. And so I just remember not 15, 16. And so I just remember like being kind of like feeling like, they're gonna hurt me. They were screaming, they were holding these signs. I remember this old lady who worked at the thing, she came and she's like, leave her alone, and escorted me inside. I get in there and I see all these women. For some reason, I didn't think there was gonna be any women in there. There was like 30 women inside the waiting room. So I'm waiting there for a couple hours. He kept on calling me, what's going on? What'd they say? What happened? When you get an abortion? And I was, we were being nice to each other. Like, everything was fine, He supported the abortion. I supported the abortion. So anyway, so they send me back to the room and they do like a, I guess like a, gosh, what do you call those things? Ultrasound. They're like, do you want to see? Do you want to hear the heartbeat or whatever? You're 5 weeks or something like that. 5 to 8 weeks. I don't remember. And I was like, no. Because I was like listening to a whole bunch of stuff about it. And they said, hey, if you hear the heartbeat, you're going to get connected to the baby. Like, blah, 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 blah. And so then they said, okay, so since you're 5 weeks, it's gonna be $500. You have to pay though like $100 or $250 today or whatever the case, and then the rest before the day of, something like that. And so I was like, okay. So I remember paying $250. I remember calling him like, hey, it's $250, and I think he paid the $250 part, or I don't remember exactly. But I do remember that part. And I remember, like, I seen women in there, like, crying, like, you know, and just going through a lot. And of course it was scary for me too. And anyhow, so gosh, what happened after that? So they told me I needed to come back in a couple weeks. They sat you down with a counselor. I spoke to a counselor. She was a nice black lady, and she was just like, she said she's a Christian. She said that she believes it's pro-choice. She believes that a woman has the right to do what she wants with her body. And because she was a Christian, it kind of made me feel like a little bit more at ease. I remember speaking to my godmom about it a little bit, and she said that she ended up getting one at one point too. And she's like, why don't you just get a little pill? Maybe they can just give you a pill, and you could just come out as a period. And of course, I didn't want to have an abortion. But ultimately, the crazy part, actually, to this whole story is I remember being really, really sick. And I remember going to the hospital. I remember them checking, and they're like, hey, you know, yeah, you're pregnant. That's why you're feeling this bad. And I was just like, well, why do I feel this bad? Now, the pregnancy was normal from what they were saying with the ultrasounds and stuff. Everything looked fine. I don't know why I was in so much pain. But anyhow, long story short, I remember that I actually, the 4 weeks was coming up. I remember him keep on calling. I was completely stressed out about the abortion, about everything. And I remember bleeding. I remember bleeding a lot. I remember, gosh, I was in excruciating pain. I remember bleeding a lot. I remember seeing shit falling out of me, and I remember like just being kind of like confused on what was going on. And I remember like telling him, and I remember his friend being very supportive of the whole situation. And I remember going back, and they were pretty much telling me that I miscarried. I didn't necessarily sorry. I don't really know how I felt. I just remember being somewhat devastated, and I remember being relieved at the same time, but devastated, and felt like maybe it was meant to happen. I don't know. I just remember not wanting this child, and I remember being adamant about that. And I remember losing the child, and I remember going into a deep depression shortly after. I remember that I couldn't. It was just horrible. It was horrible. And only a couple people knew about the whole ordeal. Only a couple people knew about my ex and me having a baby. My mom doesn't even know. I'm sorry for all the people that didn't know, but it happened. And afterwards, I was an emotional wreck, an emotional being of light, of darkness. I wanted to kill myself. After that, all my snaps and everything that I ever wrote was negative and was about killing myself and was about just, God, I was so depressed, you guys. Like, it's not anything that I would have ever wished on anyone, you know. And yeah, there might have been funny parts in this story, but the ultimate part that was not funny was losing a child. And I feel like anybody who, if you get an abortion, if you don't get an abortion, I think that you still feel that loss. It's still a loss, you know. I feel like you could not be connected to it too much, or maybe be connected a little bit, but regardless, I think that it might affect everyone in some type of way. And I never in a million years wanted to tell anyone that I was even pregnant with a second child at some point. Ever since then, I've been very careful not to get pregnant again. I've been on birth control. I've done my due diligence because I do never want to be put in a situation where I have to give up a child. This one was taken from me, and I am sad, but I'm relieved at the same time, because I can only imagine how horrible my life would have been had I had 2 kids and been a single mom. And kudos to all the single moms with 4, 5, 6, 7, I know them, kids. You guys are amazing. Not everyone is equipped to be that. You guys are strong, you guys are patient, you guys are amazing. And I've seen people snap. We've seen people in the news snap, having lots of kids, doing, you know, unthinkable things, because they don't need kids. They're not ready for kids. They emotionally, mentally cannot process so many kids. And I feel like at that time, I could not process having 2 kids at, right now I'm 29, so at the time I was 23, I think. Gosh, my time's off. I think it was 23 or whatever. I was young, and I didn't have that much support. Where I stay, it's only me and my mom. My mom's my only family where I stay. I don't have a whole bunch of people to help me, and I was stressed out, and emotionally I remember being so stressed out from my child, and I would want to just spoil the child I have and wait until the right time to actually, the time where I actually want to have a kid. Because when I have my firstborn, me and my ex-husband tried to have her, so it wasn't a mistake, but we were young. And the next time that I decide that I want to have a kid, it will be with someone that I love. It will be with someone that I'm most likely married to. If I'm not married and I'm not with someone I'm loving, and someone's not willing to commit to me, they don't deserve to have my kid, and I don't deserve to have a kid for them. You guys have to know your worth. And when it comes to abortion, at first, before I knew anything about it, I wasn't too judgmental, but I didn't believe that you should get an abortion. But now I feel like it should be pro-choice on a woman's body. And yeah, a lot of people might have something to say about it, but sometimes it's not your body, it's not your situation, it's not your child. You have to think about putting a child into foster care. And you know what happens to all those kids? A lot of those kids grow up in broken families to where they're lost and they're confused, and they create nothing but havoc in society at times. Now, there can be great people, but you guys know that they have a lot going on mentally, and they have to seek help, based off of the fact that their mom and dad didn't want them, and they have to come to terms with that, or something happening to them, you know, getting molested, getting beaten, getting raped, just getting all types of things happening based off of them being in foster care and not having any guidance, or not having a parent that truly loves you. Usually the person that's gonna love you the most is gonna be your mom, the one who conceived you, the one that had you. I feel like it's pro-choice at this point. For me personally, whatever you agree, I don't care. If you believe that you have to not get one, if you believe that there's pro-choice, if you believe, I don't care what anyone believes. I care about what I believe, and I feel like everyone has the right to decide for their body, what's best for them, religiously, spiritually, emotionally. I feel like they know what's their best decision to make. I don't never condone killing, but I think that sometimes people get raped and have a baby. I've seen a lady at the abortion clinic who, her dad got her pregnant, and he was in there with her, and he's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Your dad gets you pregnant. You see what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Like, you know what I mean? You have people who, you know, maybe have AIDS, and they don't want to bring a child up with AIDS, or I mean, it's just like so many different things. I know that rape is one of the biggest. It's like, why should you have to keep someone's child that you didn't even want to begin with? Some people aren't ready. 13 years old. If you're 13 years old, you have a kid. Come on now. Really? That's crazy, you know? We love our children and we love kids, but come on now. Let's be smart here. Thanks for hearing my story. Please no judgment. If you have anything negative to say, your comment will be deleted. And you'll probably be blocked. I'm not for hate. I'm for love all the way. And I love you guys and I support you guys. And this channel is about support and encouragement and love and um, story time and experiences. It's not about bashing or hating or mistreating anyone. So anyway, end of the day, I leave you guys with a wonderful good night, and I hope that you guys have an amazing day. And I want to thank you so much for watching this channel, for supporting me, and everything that comes along with this story time. I'm not looking in my past anymore. I was young. I probably wouldn't get an abortion now. I'm not sure. I'm not in the situation. I got the rod in my arm. I'm good for 3 years. But yeah. Y'all have a good day.